Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi
Hello.
everyone.
Hello. Hello.
Alright guys, so my name is Michelle. It's very nice to be with you today. I actually work at a hospital, and it's not a hospital for people, it's actually a hospital for these guys.
Oh, so good. So nice of you.
So this is Stubby, and she's here to tell you about oil spills. Before we get into the lesson, I just want to show you some things about Stubby. So you can see that Stubby has a white belly with black
Just a minute.
spots.
Hello. Hello, Michelle.
Hi.
Sorry to disturb you. Just a minute. One of my students will introduce himself and welcomes you.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, go. Chalu sir.
Hello, madam. I am Prathamesh.
Very nice to meet you.
Welcome to India. We are excited to watch penguin. We have worked hard for this trip. Thanks for your support. Please start the trip.
Yes. Yes. Now, please go ahead now.
Thank you. It's very nice to get such a good welcome.
Yeah.
So myself and Stubby will be telling you a bit about oil spills today. You can see Stubby is panting a bit, so she's quite hot. I'm going to put her down on the floor in a little bit because she's quite hot on my lap. But you can see she's got a white belly with these black spots. So all African penguins have spots, but no two have the same spots. She's got a black back, and you can see she's got really, really big feet, but very short legs. So that's Stubby. I'm going to quickly put her down, and we're going to get right into our lesson. So you can see she's not gone. She's still in my office. She's just going to hang out here for a bit. So what I need to do is I need to share my screen with you guys. So if you guys can just give me a thumbs up when you can see my screen, great. So we're here today to meet Skipper, although Stubby came on Skipper's behalf, and learn about oil spills. So first of all, this is Skipper. She's one of Stubby's friends who lives at Sandcart, and she is an endangered African penguin. So what this word endangered means is it means there aren't a lot of them left. If we have an animal that they keep dying out and we have none left, we call them extinct. And before they are extinct, they are endangered. So Skipper lives at Sandcart in Cape Town, South Africa. And Skipper is a beautiful girl. You can't tell the difference whether penguins are boys or girls just by looking at them. You actually have to do a blood test. But we've done Skipper's blood test, and she is a beautiful girl. So I keep saying this word Sandcart, and what Sandcart means is it stands for the Southern African Foundation for the Conservation of Coastal Birds. But that's a very long name, and if we had to say that name every time we spoke about where we work, we wouldn't get much work done because we'd just be standing around telling everyone what our name is. So we just call it Sandcart. And we do a lot of things at Sandcart. We are a seabird hospital, so we rehabilitate birds if they are sick or injured or covered in oil. Sandcart is based in Cape Town, which is this beautiful town in South Africa. A lot of people come to visit us because of that mountain in the middle there. It's called Table Mountain, and we have a lot of tourists coming to Cape Town. So you can't see Sandcart in this picture. It's just to the left where the picture cuts off. It's a bit further out this way. But we have one center here in Cape Town and then another center in another province. So you would have seen that both Stubby and Skipper are black and white, and we do get different color African penguins, but they're not a different color because they're boys or girls. They are a different color depending on their age. So the same way we don't look the same when we're born as a baby, or when we're a toddler, and when we're a teenager, and when we're an adult, African penguins don't look the same all throughout their life. So when they hatch, they're this sort of gray-brown fluffy color. They're very tiny, and we call them chicks. Then between 3 and 6 months, they lose all of that fluff and they go this beautiful bluish gray color, and we call them blues. When they're 1 year old, they go brown, and we then call them juveniles. It's kind of like a penguin teenager. And only when they're 2 years old, they molt, so they lose all their feathers and grow beautiful new ones. They molt for the first time, and they get their beautiful black and white feathers, and we call them adults. So Skipper lives at Sandcob because she's too tame. So this means that she's not scared of people, and she expects people to feed her instead of going to hunt for her fish. So what happened was somebody was feeding Skipper in the wild. Sorry, I'm just seeing Stubby eating something, so I'm going to grab it from her. Sorry, Stubby found a paperclip on the floor and started eating it, and I don't want her to swallow that. So what happened was some people were busy kayaking, and Skipper kept swimming up to them and trying to get into their boat, which is very unusual for a penguin because African penguins are normally very aggressive. They don't like people. So you can see Skipper sitting in the kayak here, and you'll see she's a different color because she was a juvenile. She was brown. She's now an adult. So, some facts about Sandcob and our oil spill response. So what oil spill response is if there is an oil spill in the water, we are the ones who have to go and help all of the birds and try and fix it. So Sandcob is marked as one of the top 10 oil spill responders in the world. And that's a really big deal for us because we're quite a small little organization. So it's quite amazing actually that we are one of the top 10 in the world. Sandcob is the only group that is mandated to respond to oil spills by the South African government. So what this means is if there's an oil spill, we can't sit back and decide, maybe we'll do this one, maybe we'll work. This means that by law, we have to go and get the birds and fix everything. But this helps us a bit because it does mean that we can claim some money back from the company responsible for the oil spill, which is great. So I'm going to show you some videos about our oil spills now. Our last oil spill response was in July of this year. So let me play this video for you.
बघा ते पक्षी कसे दिसतात बघा ते पक्षी Sir. Is it the muted sound is not audible? Hi, Michelle. Hello. Hello. It's not audible. It's not audible.
Oh, you can't hear the music.
No, I can't hear the music.
Okay. Don't worry, they didn't say anything there. It was just music in the background, but I'll talk you through the next one.
Okay.
All right. So you can see there's a lot of work that goes into the oil spills. It takes about an hour to actually wash one single bird, and it's very difficult because they're very scared. They don't like having to be washed, but it's very important that we wash them because when the birds are covered in oil, like you saw on this video, they can't actually go into the water because their feathers aren't waterproof. So once we've fetched the birds and washed them, it's not over for us. They still have to go through a lot of rehabilitation because often they get hurt because, you know, they can't go into the water to get away from cats or dogs that might want to eat them. And they often get very, very thin because they can't fetch their fish. So I'm going to play another video for you now. So you can see some of the birds swimming around here in our pools. They have to swim a lot once they're healthy enough because they need to be in the water to clean their feathers. So you can see what this bird is doing. He's cleaning his feathers nicely. So it takes quite a while until they're strong enough to be able to do this again, and we have to watch them very carefully. Before they leave, they also have to be weighed. They need to weigh at least 2.85 kilograms before we let them go. And we have to be sure that they can swim for at least an hour by themselves. Once we've done all the rehabilitation and we know that the birds are good, so they've been washed, they've had their blood tested, they're back up and they're fat and they're very strong, we can release them, which is always really exciting for us. Because we don't want to keep any birds at Sandkop, we want them to be released. So this is from an oil spill last year in the Eastern Cape, which is at our other branch. And you can see the penguins are very excited to get back out into the nature and be back in the water.
बघा ते पक्षी कसे सोडतात ते. बघा बघा समुद्रात जाते बघा. चालले का?
You can see because of their short little legs, it takes them quite a while to walk. But when they're in the water, they can swim extremely fast. They can actually swim up to 20 kilometers an hour.
20 किलोमीटर जाते. बघा एका तासात 20 किलोमीटर जाते पवत ते. Very good.
So you can see they are much happier when they're back out and bobbing in the water. They don't miss us at all once we let them go. They're like, okay, well, bye everyone, you've helped us. Thank you very much. We want to go home. So Sandkop actually conducted the largest animal rescue mission in history, and this was in the year 2000. So I think that was before you guys were born, but 60 years ago there was what we call the Treasure oil spill, because a boat called Treasure was the one who lost all of the oil. And there were actually 19,000 African penguins that were washed and released. So to put that in perspective for you, at Sandkop every year, we normally only treat about 2,500 birds in the whole year. And in this single oil spill, there were 19,000 birds. So this is another video I'm going to play for you.
बघा तिथं कसं होतं बघा.
So this was the Treasure boat. This is from our news station in South Africa. So the boat actually sank, and all of this oil was released into the water. It was a huge problem for us.
त्याला लागलेला असतं त्याच्या पंखाला.
Let me turn this off.
हे बघा दिसला का ते?
So you can see when the birds are oiled, it's a huge problem for them. They can't go into the water because they can't swim. So we're having to get them out so that they don't drown. The oil stings their eyes. You can see they don't really want to go into these boxes. Like I said, they're very aggressive. So we are so grateful for all the volunteers that helped us. We then split the birds up depending on their health. So you can see these are the birds who were very weak. You can see they're not even trying to get out. They keep closing their eyes because the oil really stings it. So we have to try and wash them as fast as possible. But we can't actually wash them straight away because the birds will get too stressed and they might die. So they have to wait a bit with all of this oil on them. So what we do is we first have to put a different type of oil on top of the birds, and this is to loosen up the oil they are covered in, because otherwise the oil just doesn't come off. So we put this oil on top, we have to rub it in, and then we take a disinfectant and we have to scrub them with a toothbrush so that every single feather of theirs is cleaned. This is one of the warehouses that we used. You can see we have a whole lot of birds in different pools. And this is just because we don't have the space at Sandkop to keep 19,000 birds. We are a very small place. So what happened was the government actually gave us a number of areas that we could use to help birds. So you can see these are, once the birds are feeling a bit better, they've got a pool they can swim in, and they are happily swimming along. So we actually had volunteers coming from all over the world to help us with cleaning these birds. and it was a monumentous occasion when we could release all of these birds back into the wild. As I said, it is the largest animal rescue mission in history. And you can see again, they're really excited to get back to the water.
Ele que